All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're here on our Sunday tradition that continues on into the 14th year after the Super Bowl in February. 15 years here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, bringing you the craziness and the shenanigans that we only know how to do. That having been said, speaking of crazy, speaking of shenanigans, of course, you know, it is this guy. Yeah, I know. By the way, I'll do you a solid. While we're kind of talking about it, I will go grab it up. I'll admit it. I forgot.
And you call yourself the hardest working man in what do you call this?
Oh, you gotta be. Oh, wait. I do. Because you don't know how hard I've been working. I'm going to tell you. Watch. I'm going to show you right now how hard I've been.
4th down and 2. Here's one down the sideline. Pass caught by Des Bryant.
Still not a catch. Still not a catch. Wait for it here. Hold on. Right there. Did not maintain control of the ball.
The ball touched the ground and then came loose. Focus on the process of going to the ground.
Incomplete.
It has been determined that the receiver did not maintain.
Yes.
Reach over the goal line. That's not a catch. I'm trying to reach over the goal line. The Packers head to Seattle.
Seen that ball moving around there, right? Never mind the freeze frame shot that I had.
The hardest working man and whatever.
Oh, it took me a while to find it. I had to go out and actually find it. Yeah.
Here's the thing: the ball cannot cause a fumble, right? I mean, the ground
the ground cannot cause a fumble. Right. That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. So when the ball hit the ground with him having possession of it, and it came loose, he grabbed it while the ball was still in there and pulled it to him.
I understand, but you have to maintain control of the ball through the ground. Now the ground can't cause a fumble, but it can cause incompletion, and that's what happened.
Sonny, shut up. You never played receiver in high school football, did you?
Huh?
Did you ever play receiver in high school football?
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. So I know the rules of catching a pass.
And
the ball never hit the ground from the point to where it would be rolled, down by or we call it,
maybe we watched a different. What? Yeah, let's take a look at it again. Right there. Ball moved. Yeah, that's true. The ball moved.
Oh yeah, and he caught it. So there you go.
No, he didn't catch it. See, that's the problem.
It doesn't matter, Sonny. It doesn't fucking matter what we say about it because it was yesterday. They changed the rules since then. We can't stop that. Let's talk about today, okay? Let's talk about what happened.
No. I just wanted to let you know. I just wanted to let you know.
We don't want to hear about yesterday. We want to hear about today and tomorrow and all these other days. We know the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Packers then. They lost to the Packers last week. They kept their head coach, which that surprised a lot of people.
That alone is big news. The Cowboys retained Mike McCarthy.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Take him off the screen. Okay. Look, here's the thing. What has been the one constant thing the Cowboys had to deal with for the last 28 years?
Okay. What has been just one constant? It is Jerry Jones.
Okay. What has been his MO? We don't go. We fire the head. What's been his MO? We don't go. We fire the head coach. We get a new quarterback every single time. Look, that repeating yourself to hoping for different results. We're doing the same thing over and over and over is insane. He's been doing that.
That is the definition of insanity.
So for him to keep Mike McCarthy now, don't get me wrong. I think McCarthy's gone for next year because his contract's up, and this is pretty much Jerry just riding the wave until he has to find another head coach. Here's the thing: Jerry's looking at this whole entire thing right now, saying, "Look, I'm 100 years old right now. I cannot go and get me another coach, another quarterback to help in hopes of finding me a Super Bowl immediately, because it ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen with the current regime either, okay? This team is broke because they don't have leadership at the top, okay? It's always been that way ever since Jerry Jones told everybody, I get one of 500 coaches to come coach his team to the Super Bowl, and Barry Switzer did. Now, he took Jimmy's team, but he got a Super Bowl ring. That's his only argument he has. He has no other argument since then. It's a big one. He got him a third.
It's like John Gruden. It's almost like John Gruden winning the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when it was already set and ready to go, and they just needed someone to, kind of steer it a little bit. Well, I get what you're saying.
The fact that he did that against his old former team too was kind of cool, but then also the previous team he coached for Tulsa. But also the thing is though is that Jerry is crazy. Okay, he is nuts. Okay. You can't. And here's the thing: you cannot fire an owner. The NFL probably could. I mean, they did Dan Snyder, but you cannot fire the owner. So the Cowboys are fucked when it comes to that part. We have to wait until they take him out on the gurney, and even at that point, they're going to weekend at Bernie's him for at least a good year, probably, and just have him propped up in the press box for at least a good year. This looks like he's still in charge. Okay. Look, what they need is leadership from a general manager who can make the hard business decisions to say yes or no. The owner has a final say, yes. I get that. But you cannot be the team's biggest fan, which is your owner, and the team's general manager, which is your cutthroat. This is how things have to be. Mm-hmm. You cannot be the same person. And my feeling is, and I'm going to hate this, is that when Steven takes over, whether it's the owner or the general manager, we're still in the same lockdown bullshit we're in now. So, look, I'm a Cowboys fan. Clearly, it's right behind me. I'm an old school Cowboy fan from back in the day. Mm-hmm. Would I like to see them go back to that? Sure. Look, I was a Ranger fan long before they won the World Series. Okay? Mm-hmm. I watched year after year after year after year after year, playoff after playoff after playoff, and only three of them really, and World Series after World Series twice before they finally won one. So that's the beauty of being a fan. You live through the heartaches to get to the triumphs, right? Okay. Now, for the Dallas Cowboys, first of all, hats off to the Green Bay Packers, even from yesterday. I mean, they showed they belong, and that's gonna mess Cuervo up more than anybody else because he gave a very impassioned speech around on week one. He talked about how it's the Bears' chance to stick it to the Green Bay Packers and yada yada yada. And the Green Bay Packers showed they're here to play. Yes. And it took Jordan Love a little bit, but he figured the league out, and the team loves him. And you know what? He sat on the bench for 4 years until he got his opportunity, and now look at him. He's had 2 playoff chances right now. He's 1 for 1. Good for him. Or one and one, or 1 win, 1 loss. And you know what? Good for him. All right. But Dallas screwed up because look at the NFL draft. Where the hell was Najee Smith, or what the hell his last name, or his first name is? Najee Smith. He was nowhere to be found all season long. He was your first round pick. Okay? Where's Micah Parsons? Why does he show up in big games? He talks a lot. Well, why not show up in them? The difference between him and Lawrence Taylor is that Lawrence Taylor showed up in all those big plays, in all those big games. He made something happen. Okay? You want to see, now people want to switch the blame over to Dak? Yeah, when he threw that pick six that got run all the way back, I was like, game's over. Because the offense had no heart. They had no running game all season long. Passing only works if you can run the ball. That's what killed Tony Romo. Because Tony Romo never had a running game. And he can throw for 400 to 500 yards a game, 60 passes a game. You don't win with that. Gotcha. So, yeah. So, Cowboys screwed up.
That being said, no,
we're not done yet.
Look. Hold on. Wait. Whoa. You have your time. But
No,
there's somebody in the they're in and we got another 50 minutes.
Can you dig it, sucker?
We even though we got you only for an hour, I might only have Bryce for the rest of the hour. So I got to bring in the guy that's got the knowledge, that has got the look, and also the best smile. Let's hear. Here comes right there on the internet. It is one Bryce from Brooklyn. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see you.
Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Once I heard the Podfather was coming on and was going to be here until noon, I said I can come on and hear the Podfather and what he has to say about what happened, along with venting my own frustrations about what happened on my game. The only thing that would make this the quadfecta, I guess, is if you bring on the fine co-host of this show, so he'll
be at the bottom of the hour. So just
and then we bring Obi back for one final Brownies recap.
Anyway, that being said, interesting. Listen, Podfather, just so that you know, and just in case because you haven't listened to the
Podfather to keep going.
But what you are saying about Jerry Jones has been something that Bryce from Brooklyn has heard on the show, and many people have been talking about what that whole situation is. I was thinking about it this week, but I want you to continue, Podfather, with your take up on the Dallas Cowboys and that whole situation. But I had to make the room look a lot better by bringing in Bryce. So go ahead.
All right, thank you, Bryce. Appreciate you.
Well, here, put it right there. There we go.
Just take you out. Take yourself outside.
Right. Yeah. Hey, that's a.
Now we have a show. This entire time. Okay, great. Okay, look. Here's the thing. Like I said, if you fire Mike McCarthy and you get rid of Dak Prescott, does Jerry have the time left on this earth to do that? Like I said, if he dies and they will him out and he's no longer the owner, they're going to prop him up like Weekend at Bernie's and have him sit there in the press box just to show that he's still a figure there at the stadium. All right. Look, my thing is this: keep your coach until his final year. He has got 5 years to win you one Super Bowl. If he can't do it, guess what? His contract's expired. Go find somebody else. Dak Prescott, do not pay him $60 million for a year to keep playing. Get off the screen, Sonny. We didn't need you here. Why am I at the bottom?
Do the Brady bunch.
All right. So I think, look, if Dak is worried about getting his money, then you tell him to get lost. But here's the problem. You can't cut him. You can't cut him because that's going to hit you in the salary cap, at least a good $50 million, and so that's going to hurt you financially. I'm strapped for the next year. You can't. You don't want to give him any more money because God knows he has to earn it, and you earn that kind of money through playoff wins. That's I mean, is he a good quarterback? Yeah, he's a good quarterback. Is he the best option they have right now? Right now, yes. But until you show me somebody else who is either available in free agency, who's better than him, or you show me somebody in the draft they can get it at the pick they're going to have him at, then you make your move. But until then, you're stuck with them. But you don't have to be stuck with them until after this year. You can always look elsewhere. You don't have to pay these players when they don't perform. You don't owe them that. But Jerry has this the big fan syndrome, right? Well, I want to keep my players here. I want to keep this guy here. That's hurt you so much in the last 28 years. And what has been the one constant thing in the last 28 years? They've not won a quality playoff game. They've not gone to a Super Bowl. And it's all because of one person and one person only, the guy up top. He doesn't make the changes. By the way, Will McCoy, I'm glad he's still staying with the Cowboys. But at the same time, isn't he responsible for scouting?
Who?
Isn't he responsible? Why don't you listen to the show, Sonny? Will McCoy.
I don't know.
Yeah, they just brought him back. He was a former Dallas Desperados coach. They brought him back to
Well, I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know if he's still part of the Cowboys.
Because he interviewed to be the general manager for, I guess, the Falcons or something like that. But but anyway, but then he decided that he elected to stay in Dallas because he has what would be essentially the general manager position without the actual title. Well, if he's responsible for that, then explain to me Mozzie Smith or Najee Smith, what the hell his last name, what first name is. Explain to me getting him and not playing him. Explain to me not making moves to have better draft choices. You have the players to move around. You have the chess piece right there. You can move players around. Why is Michael Gallup still on this team? He was unusable all year long. Why did you not find a running back out there that's, could possibly get 100 yards a game? Why couldn't you do any of that? Because you felt stuck, whether it's to a contract you're giving to a quarterback, whether it's the fact that you're too stubborn in your ways, because you're going to prove to everybody that, we don't need Zeke. We got Tony Pollard. Okay, that's great. When you had Zeke, you had Tony Pollard running better than he was. But once you make him the head guy, you screw up. So we saw all that. Look, this year, I think personally, I understand not getting rid of Mike McCarthy because starting from ground zero at Jerry's age is frightening for him because he'll never see what he wants to see at that point. He's still never going to see it anyway. But the likelihood.
So let me ask you a question regarding that. And I get what you're saying. But I guess I'm asking, are you honestly, and I'm just asking, and I'm not criticizing, just asking, do you honestly think that Jerry Jones is worried that he's going to croak before he wins another Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you know about it, but this is a guy who got into a car accident where the freaking car hit his side of him driving it, and this guy steps out of the freaking car, walks out, no problem. This guy's almost, I don't think that's even a worry for Jerry. Nothing worries Jerry Jones in reality. It's just my opinion. I mean, but I don't know how or where the deduction where you think he's worried he's not going to win before he dies.
If you go on to YouTube, there's an interview he does with Joe Buck.
Yes, I watched it.
And there I got a better feel for who Jerry Jones was.
Yes.
He loves the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Now, does he like all the bells and whistles that come to the Cowboy Stadium? Sure, he does.
Absolutely.
He's making money hand over fist. He knows how to do that. Good for him. But the thing he is known for is the Cowboys.
Right.
And he wants that to succeed more than anything. And the fact that he's getting up there in age and the fact that his time is ticking a lot quicker than the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, that's a bothersome for him because he won. It's like Al Davis. Al Davis wanted one last shot. And everybody compares Jerry Jones to Al Davis, right? He wanted one more shot, and he had that one last shot against the Bucs, but he never got to achieve that. So trust me, that's a Jerry Jones thing. He needs to prove himself right that he can get one of 500 coaches to come win another Super Bowl for this team. He did it once. He needs to do it one more time. He feels Mike McCarthy is your best bet. At the end of the day, look at it this way. Look at your options out there. Bill Belichick. What does Belichick want? We really don't know. But we assume he wants general manager and be the coach, right? Because that's what we have with the Patriots. We don't know if that's what he'd want. But you think Jerry's going to give that to him? No. Okay. Then you got John Harbaugh, college coach. You went that way with
Jim. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jim Harbaugh. Sorry, I get confused. You get Jim Harbaugh, college coach, Michigan. He's got other options everywhere else, including Michigan. Do you want to pay him that kind of money to come in here and try to talk to a bunch of millionaires about the way he would talk to a college player? He has that to worry about too. And how much power would he want to have down the road? Will he be able to bring in his own coaching staff? Will he be able to bring in people that he wants? Or will Jerry do what he did to Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett and bring in guys that he wants? That's
he did even to a certain part with Mike McCarthy of this, his Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator.
Right. But then the other one's Grable. What does Grable want? I mean, he's out there right now, and he's a good front leader for a lot of teams right now. But what does he really want? Does he think he can handle Jerry Jones? Or is he too fresh in the coaching thing right now to understand the makeup of what Jerry Jones really wants with a coach? Because he doesn't look like a guy who could be a puppet, and Jerry wants a puppet. Jerry wants someone who's going to sit there and go, I mean, as we said earlier, all the statement that he made, that sounded very rehearsed by something that Jerry told him to say. And even Bryce agreed with me on that. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, clearly we're onto something here because, it comes down to Jerry Jones wants to make his mark be, this is my team. These are my championships. This is how I got us here. This is our story. And it's all because of me. That's all this is about. So to fire Mike McCarthy and to get rid of Dak Prescott and start from ground, where are you going to start with? Cooper Rush? Are you going to bring Trey Lance to the picture finally and say, okay, it's your team now? You sat here for a whole year and just watched how we do stuff under a different coach, by the way, but don't worry about that. I mean, you can't do that. So if they think they have the best system in place, fine, let them play it out. I'll still root for them. For picks, pick them in the regular season. Just don't pick them in the playoffs, because clearly they'll get you 12 wins in the regular season. They're good at that.
Well, it helps when you got a horrible division. Now, Bryce, you've heard the Podfather. I got just a little disagreement with him, but I'm on board with about 90% of what he said. Yeah, so Bryce, Jerry Jones, what's your take on the Dallas Cowboys as far as what the Podfather actually is saying?
You know what, Podfather? From the first time I met you, I was like, like this guy. Something about him I like. And, you just proved it. I don't have much to add to what you said. You probably might be the most reasonable Dallas Cowboy fan I've heard in the last couple weeks. Most of you can admit, Podfather, most of your fandom, most of your fan base, it's hard to talk football with a lot of Cowboy fans. I think they're so distraught and lack answers for what the problem is, and they eat a lot of the propaganda up because they're so used to hearing from Jera and all that they take it out on other people. And you seem to be a level-headed Cowboys fan. I think the Podfather is 100% right. I think that press conference that Mike McCarthy gave, and I said it on my Facebook page, and I'll say it here, is one of the silliest comments I've ever heard. We have a championship program. We just don't have the playoff wins to show for it yet. What does that even mean? That sounds like a conversation he had with Jerry, and he just repeated what Jerry said. That's what it sounded like to me.
It's funny. It's almost like saying, I know we went 1-15, but we have a championship caliber team.
We just don't win. We just don't win enough games yet.
I mean, you can win, I don't know, 8 more. You probably see if you can do how you do in the playoffs at that point. Look, I'm not going to lie. They ran into a hot team with Green Bay. Green Bay came out on all cylinders that game, and they damn near lit it up last night too against the Niners. So kudos to them. They're in the right path. That's going to piss Cuervo off more than anything because that's his divisional rival. And I remember here, week 1, like I said, Cuervo gave an impassioned speech about it's the Bears' time. They got to step up and shove it down the Packers' throats that they are the team to beat. Then here come the Lions who destroy everybody in their
Who might be going to the NFC Championship. Oh, Cuervo's going to lose his mind if they win that game.
But I know, right? So,
oh my Lord, you talking about strapping in? They win that game next week. We're all strapping in for the rant that we're going to hear.
By the way, have y'all seen the logo for Super Bowl 58?
Here we go.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you look at the color scheme on the logo, they may have predicted who the Super Bowl winners or the Super Bowl teams are going to be because it's red and purple.
Yeah, maybe.
But hey, go back further. 2 years ago, it was orange and for
the last 3 years, it's been the logo's been the teams there in the Super Bowl.
And they've been preset. they've been preset before that. So
yeah,
is it fixing? I don't know, but I mean, I think that's actually a real thing. But it is funny how they get that close to it and go. Yeah, I mean, if they had a blue and gray Super Bowl logo, everybody's going to go, "Oh, ain't no way the Cowboys or the Lions are going to Super Bowl. No way." So
all right,
listen.
All right. Now that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Guess who happens to be here? It's the fine co-host of this program. Your time on where there's only 2 games today. But by the way, thank you everybody for giving me Friday. I just did not feel well. Feel much better today. No one's going to.
Radio had to have a break. Why?
Hey, I was sick as a dog. But
dude, I do 5 shows a day. I do 5 shows a week. I do
here
3
we go.
shows on Thursday. I have a new TV show.
But you don't have the moniker. You're just jealous, and that's all that rolls down to. But welcome to fine co-host of this program.
I am the brag 'em pick 'em champion. I got my own.
Rights. By the way, who's in the lead in the playoff pick 'em? That would be me. But anyway, Cuervo, welcome into the show. I mean, I don't know how much of the diatribe you just heard from the Podfather regarding Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. But I figured I'd get your take up on the Jerry Jones Dallas Cowboy woes outside of what you might have heard from the Podfather. So, Cuervo, first of all, good morning. Second of all, what's your take up on the Jerry Jones, keeping the only Mike McCarthy, retaining him as the head coach?
Okay, I was wondering when you and the Podfather were gonna stop bickering at each other, so I could say good morning to everybody. Good morning, Sonny, and
that was his fault.
The Podfather, aka Champ. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh yeah.
My guy Bryce in Brooklyn. Good morning to you, sir. I just caught what you were just saying about the Lions, by the way. It's funny. NFC North fans, we're weird. We're a little funny. We like, I have nothing against Lions fans. Actually got a lot of good friends that are Vikings fans. But when it comes to one thing we all agree on, we all can't stand the Green Bay Packers. And we all rejoiced last night when the 49ers came through in the end, and Christian McCaffrey got that ball in the end zone and won that game. So,
what?
Bryce, I'll say it again for you, Bryce. We all rejoiced when the Packers lost last night, and Christian McCaffrey got that game-winning touchdown. But I have to, and you guys can go look for yourselves. I have to confess to something. I couldn't ignore what I saw last week, and in the pick'em, I actually picked that green team.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Yes, you did.
Because look, you can't unsee what you saw last week in Dallas, and so that was my thinking. But I used the lowest confident points, so it's like, So
you're telling me there's a chance?
Well, not for Green Bay. There's no chance. They're going home. So.
Well, now
all right, let's talk Jerry Jones real quick. Listen, I don't know why we're shocked about this. Why are we so shocked that Mike McCarthy is staying in Dallas? Is this not Jerry Jones's method of how he does it? He always lets coaches ride their contract out, and then when it's time to make a decision to extend, he'll either extend them or he won't. So
except for Wade Phillips, he fired him halfway through the season.
Well, yeah, that was a weird one. But that was a generation ago, right? That happened.
Right.
Before Jason Garrett took it over, yeah.
Yeah, and so he let Garrett stick around. Podfather, you gotta admit, it was way longer than he needed to.
Yeah, 2 contracts worth. Yeah.
Right. And so, that's just how Jerry Jones is. He normally lets guys ride their contracts out and then decide from there.
Well, I'm put this up to all three of y'all real quickly. If you were Jerry Jones, God knows I would not want to see Sonny as Jerry Jones, but let's say you're Jerry Jones. Who would you go get? If you're gonna be Jerry Jones and have the same kind of power Jerry Jones has, who would you go get?
Well, we talked about this on the show quite a bit, Cuervo. When you make a move like what you're talking about, getting rid of a Mike McCarthy, or a player for all that matters, whether it's quarterback, who are you going to get? That's always got to be your first question in reality. Now, when you're Jerry Jones, it's a little bit different than most teams, and that's because of the fact of two factors, which would be the Jerry Jones control portion of it. And then as far as that is concerned, finding someone who can put up with the Jerry Jones. Now they tried it. Bill Parcells was one that was there who, kind of tried to wade through the Jerry Jones situation. But the only thing that I get, and I get exactly what everybody's talking about, and I agree. Like I said, 90% of what you're saying about Jerry Jones. But why can't we put a little bit of blame up on this outside of Jerry Jones? Why does it have to be Jerry Jones? I mean, this team won football games, right? They were great. They had the players. They got the guys. They got the when are we going to put some of that up on the players as well? Jerry Jones spends a lot of money bringing players in as well. So, we're going to just put 100% of this on Jerry Jones.
No.
I'm asking, not criticizing. Go ahead.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, clearly the players, the one who dropped the ball during the game. The coaches did not do anything to play. The only coach that seemed really into the game was Jimmy Johnson. He was sitting at Fox. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that TV was not trying at halftime for him to see him do that. But here's the thing: you need to get a coach to light a fire under the ass of these players. These players have been coddled. They've been told, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We're going to be okay. You're not okay. Every job is safe there because of the contracts being what they are. Okay? I mean, you can't go back to how Jimmy had it back 29 years ago, okay? You can't do that.
Well, Jimmy would cut you next week. That's kind of the way it worked.
Right, but the thing is, contracts are different than they are now.
Yes.
The free
more money involved,
way different. So you don't have that luxury of doing that now. That's why Jimmy can't coach today, because he couldn't handle it. Okay, but I do think that because you have an owner that doesn't hold your ass to the fire when you are not performing, like Michael Gallup.
Fully disagree.
Okay. Then where am I wrong? Go ahead.
I'd like to hear my father to finish what he was saying.
Well, I just said it under my breath. I didn't realize I said it out loud, but go ahead.
Get out loud again, Sonny.
I know.
Look, you got Michael Gallup sitting there on your team. You may not be able to get much for him, but you could have at least gotten a 7th round draft choice for him. Something to build up your draft stock, because you need players. You don't have anybody. I mean, what? Okay, what, Sonny? You're
gonna allow me to speak? No. Wait. Okay. So Michael Gallup, you're talking Michael Gallup. Okay, right. 7th round. Who gives a shit? Okay, listen, we're talking about a 7th rounder who don't even make your freaking team half the goddamn time. So who gives a shit? Who's the problem with not getting Michael Gallup the ball? Oh, it's Jerry Jones. Jerry said don't throw it to him. See, I'm not buying this bullshit. Okay, strap it up.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's it. I'm telling you right now. Jerry Jones does deserve a little bit of the problem. But where the hell is Mike McCarthy? Where the hell are the offensive coordinators? Where are the defensive coordinators? No, we're gonna put it all on Jerry Jones because he pays the guys a little bit too much. You think Jerry Jones can't piss away millions of dollars? Of He puts away millions of dollars. That's who Jerry is, and he's done it. So what is it? Mike McCarthy, we don't want to blame him. But of course you got to blame him. You got to blame the players. Well, how come? Oh, they're not catching the ball. Well, how come Michael Gallup isn't getting it? So the solution is throw Michael Gallup for a 7th rounder that he won't make the freaking team? Give me a break. And I'm telling you right now, Jerry Jones is a problem. And here's where I'm going to say it. There's 3/4 of the problem, and that goes to Jerry Jones. The other is the fact that the players aren't there. So you don't want to blame the coaches. You don't want to blame. You only want to blame some guy that pays millions of dollars for talent, and that's the only person you want to blame. Anyway, sorry for the explosion there.
Wow, what a ride.
I agree. 75% is Jerry Jones's fault. But you got to put some blame on those players. You have Michael Parsons. The guy's a badass. I don't want to hear about, he doesn't show up on certain games. I don't want to hear that. Everybody says he's one of the best in the business, okay? Dak Prescott, this guy needs some freaking – that man needs some blame on the reason why. I mean, you're throwing an interception. Oh, great. I'm not going to throw 10 interceptions. Congratulations, you didn't. But how did you play in the playoff game? Okay, where are the players showing up? And you're blaming Jerry for them not showing up? Well, here's what I will tell you. You got those guys making the money, okay? You got to put some blame on those players. And then you answer the question, the coaching. Now, I don't know what happened defensively on the football team, but even the defensive coordinator is still getting interviews for a head coaching job, and they'll take them if that will go. I'm going to tell you right now, the defense coordinator is going to be gone. Okay. What's his name? I forget his name. Dan Quinn's going to be gone. He's going to be a head coach next year because he had the agreement, and this is my personal belief, that he was going to be the one that was going to take over this football team. And that didn't happen, especially when this came up. And I'm telling you right now, he's not under contract right now, or if he is, he can leave no problem. And Jerry's going to let him go. So I cannot believe that we want, and I get it. It's easy to have the scapegoat of Jerry Jones being the problem with the Dallas Cowboys, but he's not the one out on the football field. Although I saw a meme where they put his face in, where he's getting ready to go and he says, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself." So I love that meme, which, by the way, but he's not the one that's doing it on the football field. He's got football players, by the way. If you want also, to blame Jerry Jones and the fact that he got rid of Ezekiel Elliott, which was this guy was just garbage. I mean, sorry, he was, but we want to blame Jerry Jones for getting rid of Ezekiel Elliott. Come on. At some point, you got to put the blame up on the players, and the fact that they want to say it's all Jerry's problem. I'm just not buying it. Now, that being said, could he hire better coaches? Maybe. But Mike McCarthy, everybody when they hire, that's a great one. He's a Super Bowl guy. I didn't like the hire, but Super Bowl champion. He's been there a couple times. So sooner or later, Jerry Jones making supposedly good moves when he makes them, and then everybody turning on the move 4 or 5 years later. You gotta, It kind of gets hypocritical sometimes. Again, I'm gonna put 75% of this on Jerry. I will, but you got to put some of it on the coaching as well as the players. And let me bring in the Podfather. He's back a little. He's got that Oklahoma internet, so it kind of gives him a little bit of a problem. So, but anyway, that's just what I was thinking. They should have beat Green Bay. And they should be embarrassed. But that's not Jerry. He wasn't out on the football field. So you're blaming Jerry Jones for them losing in the first round. It's idiotic. It makes zero sense, especially after you saw what happened out on the football field during the season.
Sonny, look, for the actual game, I blame the coaches. I blame the players, okay? Because they're the ones on the field doing everything. I blame the culture of the team on Jerry Jones.
Yes.
Okay.
The culture of the team is why that team is feeling the way it is. Yes, the quality of play on the field matters. Yes. Before you have another fucking aneurysm, just bear with me here. Okay.
It's just what I do.
Yeah. How you haven't killed over yet, we'll have no idea. Please don't die before February. We have to see the beard. Okay, look.
I do.
But hey, all I'm saying is this. What happened last Sunday was the players' fault. Dak shouldn't have thrown the interception. McCarthy should have coached better. Should have made halftime adjustments. Everything should have been better. None of that happened. The culture of the team has been the same for 28 years. Yes, people get let go when their contracts expire or when Jerry has said, I've seen enough. Jerry is the problem when it comes to setting the culture of that team. That being said, name of the show, all I'm going to tell you is this. If Jerry would have fired Mike McCarthy, there is no one out there currently that can come in here and give him what he wants. If you let go of Dak Prescott, you cost yourself $50 million for next season, and you don't have the budget to try to rebuild your team for next year to help to get back to the playoffs minus $50 million. Jerry has the authority, being the owner and the general manager, to look at players who are not performing and make deals to get rid of them or cut them. That's what his job is. He has a player like Michael Gallup who wasn't performing at all. He should have cut him loose. He should have, or at least see what he can get for him. You know? But because he didn't do that, because he exercised his power as the general manager to help make the team better for maybe not this year, but maybe down the road, that falls on him. Now, whatever stock Michael Gallup has before the season to now, that has dropped tremendously. So what you could have got for him then could have been a lot higher. Could have been. I have no idea. I have no idea what he's really worth. I just made up 7th round draft choice because that's pretty much all you try to get for him if you get anything for him. So I'm saying you need to if you know you're always constantly to go into my world, professional wrestling. Triple H is always looking for the next superstar. He's always looking for the next guy to take the reins of this company and take it to the stratosphere. Okay? Jerry, and most owners in the NFL think this way. Jerry doesn't because he's so damn loyal to his team. He was loyal to Des Bryant for the longest time. And Des, I'm sorry, I didn't see a lot of things in Des. Yeah, we can criticize the catch-all or the non-catch-all you want. Thing is, Des was a player. He wasn't the best player. He was definitely not a number one receiver, but he was definitely he was an okay player. He was an okay state player. If you want to go any further, so I think Jerry Jones. The problem with him is that as long as he is still owner of the team, this team will still stay where it's at because nothing will change. You can change coaches.
I'll agree with you there.
You can change quarterbacks, change coaches, nothing will change because the culture is the same. That's your problem.
Man, lots of Dallas Cowboy talk this morning, which is great, by the way. This is actually wonderful.
It gets raised on ESPN.
Yeah, you know.
Hold on. I want to jump in to add some Podfather.
Okay.
Sonny, no one is giving the players a pass on the field. They have not performed. Particularly Dak in the playoffs and against winning teams, good teams, has been inconsistent. Same with the coaching. But when you have a problem, to the Podfather's point, that has been repeated for over 20-some-odd years, at some point there needs to be a thorough examination of the front office, the culture, and how they put teams together. What have I said about the Cowboys consistently? Sonny, you got us strapping in because you're ranting about 1 to 22. I'm telling you, GMs and championships are made from player 23 to 53.
Fully agree.
How you find your third, fourth linebackers, backup linemen, how you fit them into your scheme when you have injuries, the attrition component, how you adjust when teams are going big and you don't have linebackers that have size. You know, so you put 200-pound guys out there like the Cowboys are getting ran over. How you adjust and give the coach different personnel to use. That all plays into a front office. And over and over and over again, we have seen this front office come up with no answers when they have to adjust to other people's adjustments, when they have to go out and actually make the team better from those perspectives. They don't know how to do it. They've never shown that they know how to do it. They've got an owner and a GM in the family who they're not they do good with 1-22. It's not bad. So for amateurs in that sense, I give them credit, but they do not know how to build a championship football team. And it shows them bringing back the head coach. So they're going to run it back with a coach who will not challenge Jerry, like the Podfather said, because Jerry wants to win a Super Bowl, but only win it his way. Mm-hmm. It's about proving his way will finally work.
He wants his brand on it. I get it.
It's never going to work because they're not good enough consistently from 23 to 53 to beat these teams that come in and will throw the kitchen sink at them schematically, will take away the thing that you want to do the most in the playoffs and make you go somewhere else to beat them. The Cowboys are not built to win in multiple ways like that, offensively or defensively, because the team is not constructed to do it, because they don't know in the front office how to do it. So the Podfather is spot on.
I get that, but also, and I'm going to say this just off of a blind throw. The 0 to 22 was out on the football field for most of that game. In reality, take away Diggs, so they definitely needed to pick up their pace up on it, even though they might not have had 23 to whatever number it is. I agree with you 100%, but at the time, based upon what was out on the football field for the Dallas Cowboys, them dropping the ball in that game was inexcusable for the 1 to 22 and the coaching staff in reality. Because let's be honest, Jordan Love is going to be a good quarterback, but don't you think you could have picked him apart a little bit better? That's not a Jerry Jones's fault. That's a coaching problem. That's a player problem, not realizing the tendencies of what Jordan Love did, which was, by the way, look at what happened yesterday on how they figured out.
They forced him into some back rows, but Jerry selects the coach and the culture. It's Jerry's fault.
Completely agree.
They won't be able to get that they couldn't get a Belichick or a Harbaugh. That is totally in his purview.
Absolutely.
Purview, yeah, that's totally in his purview. But and he is not built to handle those type of coaches like we saw with Parcells. He has to have a guy like McCarthy that's going to sit, do kind of in the chain of command what Jerry ultimately wants to do, and that will not win them a Super Bowl.
Well, and a lot of people will say Jerry Jones is that 1A at the head coaching position as well. So I get what you're saying, because I said the joke all the time with Jason Garrett when he walked into the offices on Monday morning asking Jerry what flavor chapstick does he want for him to kiss his ass with. So, I've always said that, and and it's still going on. So if you got stock in chapstick and the Dallas Cowboys, you're in pretty good shape. But that being said, the Packers yesterday, Cuervo, they had many opportunities to win that football game as far as what we've seen. And the San Francisco 49ers pull it out in the end, which is probably a testament to their toughness for where they were in that game in order to get that victory. What was your take upon the Packers taking on San Francisco? And do you change your opinion about San Francisco moving forward into these playoffs?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, Sonny. I didn't get to watch the whole game. Wife and I went on a double date last night. But what I did see, though, I thought that, Green Bay played the same, game that they did last week against Dallas. It was just kind of going back to what Bryce said. 49ers made better adjustments, and they were able to hold Green Bay when they needed to. A little luck on their side too, because Green Bay did miss a field goal, which would have made it a 7-point game. Yeah, because at that point it was 21-17. Had they made that field goal, it would have made it a 7-point game. That touchdown by McCaffrey would have tied the game. So who knows what happens, from there. But it's not like we're gonna blame the owner for him missing the field goal. So, stuff happens. Yep. So, but yeah, I mean, I just think that, like I said, I think the Niners made better adjustments to what Green Bay was doing. They were able to, cover. But I don't know. Like I said, I didn't watch the whole game, so I don't know how good they did pressuring Jordan Love. I do know that I think the coverage was better than what Dallas showed, and they weren't able to, Jordan Love wasn't able to do his, no-look fadeaway Kobe Bryant, throws to his receivers and just magically catch the ball and score. So that didn't happen like it did last week. But, I just think the 49ers did a better job adjusting, especially in the second half. It was a tight game at halftime. It was
they blanked them in the second half. I mean, they didn't even get in the end zone.
Yeah, so I know it was a really, really tight game. But yeah, I mean that's playoff football, guys. It comes down to adjustments. You can have the greatest plan for a game all you want. You can plan all you want. And that's why I think planning. I'm not saying it's not needed. I'm not saying you need to go into a game with no game plan. But I think it's overemphasized. I think it's an overrated part of the game. You can plan all you want, but the second that plan starts to not go your way, and you got to divert from your plan, those are what makes the good coaches, separate the good from the great. And Kyle Shanahan is one of the great coaches.
Pretty masterful. Love me some Kyle Shanahan. The other game yesterday, Bryce, we saw the MVP.
The Ratbirds.
The Ratbirds, your favorite team within your division. What's your take up on how the Baltimore Ravens were able to handle their competition yesterday?
I mean, it was really a war of attrition, and this is what it tends to be whenever you play the top of the AFC North, or for the most part, any AFC North team, aside from every now and then certain games. Obviously, the Browns weren't able to get it done against the Texans, but the Ravens play a certain style. They didn't turn the football over, and they started out slow, and then Lamar just at halftime, he took the mantle, got on that team, say, let's go. They put it in his hands. And he's a baller in the second half. He was unstoppable. We had Sonny Clark here going crazy about running quarterbacks and all that. Well, this guy was running.
Let's run that back.
Wait. Who said it was going to be the MVP week 10 if he stayed healthy? Who said that? I think this guy right here.
Listen, he was running. He was throwing. He was making off-platform throws. He was navigating from the pocket. They just put the ball in his hands, and it was like the Texans were almost, whether he was throwing it or running it, it was like they were moving in a slow motion in the second half. They just got worn down, and the Ravens played a complete second half and turned it on, and they put the ball in Lamar's hands, and he was unstoppable. I mean, he's making guys miss. He's dropping in the pocket. He's buying time. He's looking around. He's firing darts. They couldn't do anything with him. And, I thought the Texans played tough. They got to play on special teams, but just overall, the story of that game is just attrition. They got worn down. They couldn't do enough offensively, and the Ravens just kept at him. And when you put the ball in Lamar's hands, he continued making plays, getting first downs, 2 rushing, 2 throwing, and 4 touchdowns. They just overwhelmed them. Kind of like the first game.
74% winning percentage for Mr. Lamar Jackson when he's out on the football field. It tells you a lot about what that guy can do. I don't like him as far as the type of quarterback he is. I've admitted that. But at the same time, that guy right now is the MVP in this league. And there's not even a question. Brock Purdy, he sealed his fate last week as far as that was concerned, but this week also just showed how much better Lamar Jackson is.
Let's Sonny, I'm gonna take a detour here real quick before we get back to it. Fellas, let's put Sonny on the hot spot right now.
Here we go.
Right now for your team, who you want? Trevor Lawrence or Lamar Jackson?
Who do I want? Yeah. Who do I want? Oh, I want Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
I want Lamar Jackson because I think he's better. I don't like the play, but he's just better. Listen, I'm gonna put some people on notice for Jacksonville Jaguar fans. If there is a guy that you can get, whether you're going to give players, give him away, that being Trevor Lawrence, to get a guy, because right now Trevor Lawrence is a Jag. I am sorry, and I'm not talking about a Jaguar quarterback. This guy is just a guy.
Hey guys,
unless he can get coached up, and that is the. I'm not done.
I have to bail. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. See you guys.
All right, Paul, Father.
We're at the top of the hour, so yeah. But I got his picks. I'll run through those. But I'm telling you right now, I'll put up with another year of Trevor Lawrence. Okay, let me just throw it. I'll put up another year and give him the opportunity to become not just a guy. But right now, if there's an opportunity to go out and get a player, and I'm not saying Kirk Cousins, so let's don't go crazy there. I just said I wanted Kirk Cousins for that game. No one was listening to me. That being said, if there's a guy that you can go and get and be your guy, if you can pick him up somewhere, from another team that no one ever thought that you could get away from that team, let's do it. I'm just saying I'm willing to bail on a Trevor Lawrence right now, willing to do it gratefully. And he may go on to another team and play very well, but there's something that is missing. What do we always say, Cuervo, about a quarterback? You got to have that it factor right now. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have that it factor right now. I don't know if that's him. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's what he's got around him. I don't think he's got, all the best talent in the world, but he's got enough to make plays. And he should have been able to beat the Houston Texans in the first round, at least in my opinion. So do you think that Trevor Lawrence has the it factor to continue on? Or if there was a guy that you could actually get, and I guess you would have to base that on if you think the person you're going to get does have the it factor that Trevor Lawrence don't.
Is that for Bryce or myself?
That was for you. Because I'll get to Bryce.
Okay, so I think you're asking is if there's another guy to go get to replace
that you
Trevor
can
Lawrence,
get,
who would it be?
No, not who would it be, or just anybody that you think that could step in and be better. Would you go get him if you had the opportunity, if you were the Jaguars? Sure, or do you go ahead and just continue on with the Trevor Lawrence, with the current coaching staff, which, by the way, they use the defense as the scapegoat, which I'm fully not in agreement with. But, or do you keep Trevor Lawrence where you are as the Jaguars? If you were in command over there, what would you do?
Try to get Patrick Mahomes, but that's not real, Sonny. It's not realistic.
I'm talking about a guy that could be gotten. Okay, you hear these crazy trades where
has
you never thought that guy was going to be able to go there. He's so ingrained with this one, and then they let him go, kind of thing.
Hey, Bryce, would you be willing to give Mitchell Trubisky to the Jaguars?
There you go. Yeah. I don't know if the Jaguars are that.
Bryce is like, I will pack his stuff up myself and take him to the airport and get him out of Pittsburgh.
Here we go. Ever since this is for the times that I would come on this show before and laugh at Cuervo and his QB situation. This is what I get. This is what I get.
You know what? You really gave me a chair shot with Chase Claypool. So,
oh man, I was look
about a mental
junior.
This guy's gone.
What's he doing in Miami now? Handing out Gatorade. What was he doing with the Dolphins? Handing Gatorade out. No, listen.
Hey, he caught 3 passes in that game. Come on now.
Anyways,
So do you hang on if you can grab a guy and hey, if you want to go in the draft to replace Trevor Lawrence, I think that's a stretch. because you know how I feel about rookie quarterbacks. Okay,
You're
regardless of which best one that's out there, even the one in Houston. I don't know. I don't know if that would be the move, but I think there's got to be something. Trevor is going to have to take a step up, and that has to happen next year. Or, I mean, I wouldn't be against him going out and grabbing up a guy that can put some, footsteps in the back of his head, right? Oh, geez, I got this guy coming on me. I better show up.
So you mean to tell me that you have, I don't want to say given up, but you're not in anymore on Trevor Lawrence, is what you're trying to say.
I'm saying if you can grab up a guy that has proven that they can do what needs to be done, I would be okay with letting Trevor Lawrence go.
Great. Then you know what? Baker Mayfield will be a free agent after the season. Go get him. How about that?
You want Baker Mayfield over Trevor Lawrence?
I would like to have that competition in the training camp. Now, I would not start Baker over. Hold on. I would not start Baker over Trevor Lawrence, but I would love to have that guy behind him going, well, if you can't get the job done, I know I can. But yeah, but I wouldn't take him, Baker, as the starter, but I would love to see the competition. I would, but yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if Baker's going anywhere. And if he does, shame on the Buccaneers.
No,
if they let him go, shame on the Buccaneers.
You win the division, playoffs, and win a playoff game. You beat the Eagles. No, he's earned the right to come back and be the starter for next year.
Absolutely. Oh, I fully agree. But we got to remember,
it's not over. They could pull off this. They could pull off this upset and beat the Lions in Detroit. That could happen, and Baker Mayfield will be taking his team to the NFC Championship game. That is crazy.
Well, why don't we talk about that game? Detroit and Tampa Bay. They hit the field today in a. Listen, I don't know.
I got to go after
the Lions defense. I'm telling you right now, the Lions defense is suspect. I don't know if you've been watching the games, but that Lions defense is suspect. And if they figure out a way to get that ball down the field on that Lions suspect defense, Baker Mayfield is going to throw for 280 and 2 touchdowns. And will that be enough for them to win the game? So that's going to be the big question. So when you're looking at this game, Bryce, what are you looking as the keys to this game for either whichever team that you're going to pick in order to win?
Detroit Lions pass rush. They got to get to Baker.
I
think that's going to be the key for the Detroit Lions. Offensively, I think they'll be able to do some things. It's not going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game. They got to get after Baker. They got to get him. This guy, you get him on the ground. You can force him into mistakes, but you better do that, because if they show up today and the pass rush ain't getting home, that game's going to get really, really, really tight for them. Because the one thing the Bucs have is they got weapons. Those outside receivers, when you give them time, they can hurt you. So Hutchinson and those boys up front better earn their keep. This is the you draft that guy for moments like this. He better he better get you 2-3 sacks today and be a guy that they just can't handle one-on-one. Because if they can't get to Baker and it allows him to get into a rhythm and get his confidence, that's going to be a problem for the Detroit Lions. I think the key is the Detroit Lions pass rush. You better send pressures. You better get pressure with 4. You better, fake like you're going to do drop out, send pressure. You better get this guy seeing ghosts, because if he doesn't, he's shown the ability on that team to hurt you.
Well, the Rams had him on the ropes last week. I don't care what anybody says. I was watching that game. I thought they were going to lose that game. I thought the Rams were going to pull it out and mess up my confidence points and everything. I really did. And Cuervo, I don't know how much of that game that you watch, but if the Rams can put some pressure on them, I don't question whether or not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can put some pressure on them. I mean, or am I wrong, or am I seeing 2 different teams in reality and I'm completely wrong?
Well, no, I mean, yeah, you're right though. The Rams did have him on the ropes. I just think that, I think the Rams were a more, how do I say it? It was a tougher matchup for them. The way they matched up against Detroit is a lot different than how Tampa Bay is going to match up against them. They're different teams. The Tampa Bay is more physical. They like to run the ball a little bit more. Their receivers are a little bigger, more physical receivers. So it's a different type of matchup with Tampa. But kind of like what Bryce said, that was exactly what I was thinking is, when you got the Michigan man up there, Aiden Hutchinson, he's got to bring it today. He's got to bring it because
absolutely
not that Baker Mayfield is Patrick Mahomes or one of those caliber quarterbacks. However, he's got the playmakers out there to make things happen with Mike Evans and Godwin and all of them. So you can't allow him to extend plays. You got to get on him, and you got to get on him fast. Yep. So I think what could be important in this game is, and maybe I don't watch enough Detroit Lions close enough. I don't know what you saw, Bryce, last. It don't seem to me like Detroit blitzes very often. They're not a very big blitz type team, right. But I think they need to change that up today. With the linebacking core that they have, or even a guy like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's somebody I think they can use to get some pressure on Baker, and force him to make some bad throws. Don't allow him to dump it down to Rachaad White, and because he can hurt you too. So the offense, even without Tom Brady, there's still a good offense.
The offensive line's amazing, by the way. And what a great place for Baker to go. A team that's got an offensive line that can maybe protect him.
Yes, exactly. So now on the other side, look, Detroit's offense is, they are what they are, right? And
yes,
Tampa have the secondary to slow them down, with the weapons that they have. So basically, I think what I'm trying to say, guys, is I expect to see a shootout today. I expect a high-scoring game in this one.
I think when I'm looking at this game, they've got to get Mike Evans involved with this game. They only threw it to him 3 times for 48 last week, and he's got to be a main cog, or at least Chris Godwin on each side. Now, White can be that nice little straddle off. If they got the red herrings on the other two, White can maybe do something. But one of the things that I was looking at when I saw it, I didn't believe it. And I actually had to second guess the stat that I was reading but the Bucs defense, as healthy, they started off the season, they were beat up. They got healthy during the games or during the season. But for their last 6 opponents, they've held under 100 yards. Okay, so as far as that is concerned, as far as what they can do for and 100 yards rushing, by the way, not over. They can stop if they stop the run. That's going to be in there. That's going to be on their side as well. And one other number I thought was, just kind of looking at Baker Mayfield, he's been keeping these games close. Okay. And in those close games, I just said it, they're not getting the ball to Mike Evans. So Baker Mayfield's got to do a better job on finding his guys that make you win football games. That would be Mike Evans. That would be Chris Godwin. They got to get the balls to him. So that being said, I'll shoot it up to Mr. Bryce in Brooklyn. What's your take up on this one?
So we're still going over kind of Detroit and the Bucs, correct? Just want to
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So look, main key being pass rush. I think the Bucs are going to get ready for another close game. It's not going to be a game where I don't foresee any blowouts. But I know it's cliche to talk about, but I think it matters here. the Detroit Lions have become a real kind of home field advantage for that team playing in that stadium with that fan base that has come out and shown out for that particular team. Dan Campbell, you know how I felt about Dan Campbell. When he got hired, it was like, absolutely not. What are we doing here? You know, I was all types of skeptical, biting kneecaps and this silliness. I'm like, okay, this guy gets the opportunity, but let me tell you something. He has galvanized that team. He has taken non-believers like me and said, hey, I'm going to go to the field and I'm going to show you. And he has. He's got that team in a great situation. And I think as much as the fine co-host of this show probably is not going to want to hear this, even though he says, oh, you know, we don't have the same feeling like we do with the Packers. He's going to watch his division rivals go to the NFC Championship. The Detroit Lions are going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to go to San Francisco and play for the right to go to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
I mean, I can't believe I'm actually saying it, but
did we ever think we would say that the Lions would have the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl?
Wait. Oh, I'm glad he did ask me for Sonny did ask me for this take. Because now I want Sonny Clark on this show to put it to have to back up and admit that Todd Bowles has done a good job with this team. Say it. Say it. I want to hear you say it. Say it.
I don't know why you would want me to say that.
Because it's true.
Listen, Todd Bowles is not sitting in the listen, you think wait, you're talking about a football team that hasn't lost a game since early November. Okay. So, but do you honestly think that that's because of Todd Bowles and not the offensive coordinator? Todd Bowles, listen, I know he won't lose his job because of where he is, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not on Todd Bowles, not on Todd Bowles at all. I don't know why anybody would. Just because they win the football games, he's not going to lose the job. We know why. Because the offense. Listen. Baker Mayfield has bailed his ass out. I'm telling you right now, he's bailed his ass out.
Walk off like Mike Tomlin.
Who has won that division the last 3 years?
As far as the NFC South?
The NFC South, yes.
Well, yes. Okay. All right. Fine. If you want to give them that credit, that's fine.
Hold on, where did you have the Buccaneers finishing in this division coming into the season?
Where did you? Why is this only about Sonny? Because I think that he sucks.
No. I'm going to finish last. So the fact that he looked at all of us, gave us a wink, and took his team to win the division and win a playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're not going to give Todd Bowles any credit for coaching them up?
Nah, I'm just not a believer. I don't like him. I don't like him. That's all I'm just saying is I'm just saying there are better coaches out there besides Todd Bowles. And I know he won his games and everybody's all happy. But I'm telling you right now, he's a Jag. He's just the guy too. He's just the guy too.
No football conversations. I'll let you take over because I'm
Bryce, you're talking about last week's game against the Eagles, giving Todd Bowles credit for that game.
You have to give Todd Bowles credit. Did any of us have them in the playoffs beating the Philadelphia Eagles at the beginning of the season? Regardless of what's going on with the Eagles, that ain't got nothing to do with Todd Bowles. He had his team ready to beat the defending NFC East championships. We're not going to give him any credit for that?
No, I definitely think he should get credit for having them ready to go. At the same time, though,
nice little golf clap.
The Eagles laid down, man. You can't deny that. The Eagles laid down last week, but Bowles was like, hey, you know what? They want to lay down? Fine. Let's put the pedal to the metal. And they went out there and whooped their ass. And I think Bowles does get credit for that. I mean, he should get credit because you don't play down to the competition. If the other team wants to lay down and quit on their coach, fine, go right ahead. And Bowles said, let's let's go out there and just put the pedal to the metal, and they did.
Cuervo, we can say play down to the competition, but remember, that's the 4 seed against that's the
4 against 5.
You're right, because they're 5. Okay. But we all agree that the Eagles overall are a better team on paper than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes. Yeah.
You would think.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
no, it's like I said, I give them the credit for getting the playoff. Listen, I'm just saying my preference. Okay. I don't think Todd Bowles is my guy. I don't care. I don't
give Todd Bowles credit for the coaching job that he has done this year.
Absolutely.
Okay. Give him his little due. Give him his due. That's fine.
Most people had the Bucs either third or last in this division. I think I had them third because I knew Carolina was going to be garbage. So I think I had.
Well, you might be right. I think we might have all had them third. I think we knew that. I have it somewhere. I written down. I just I'm in the process of when I don't have all my other stuff out yet. But I think you're right. I think everybody knew Carolina was. And listen, I don't know if you want to give Todd Bowles credit for that. You can go ahead. Wonderful. And by the way, I said he's not going to lose his job. All right. So
that means Todd Bowles credit for that because he deserves it. After you media guys like you got on your show. Now I want you to show some humility and eat your words because he's the NFC South champion with a playoff win, something that your Jags don't have, and my Steelers didn't get this year, and now they did the Bears. So are you gonna be a real football fan and give credit where credit is due, or are you gonna
I gave credit where I gave him this credit. He got his win. I'm saying he's not my guy. I don't think Todd Bowles is a good coach per se. Okay, that's just my opinion. And I might get a new one here. I might get a new look here just to side part. But I don't know. I've never been a Todd Bowles fan as a head coach on a football team. Now, hey, got the defense up and running. That's pretty good. The offensive coordinator deserves a lot of credit of where they're at because he got Baker Mayfield to do what he's done in order to get that done.
Wait. Didn't we just lament Jerry Jones and that front office not doing what it takes?
Jerry Jones and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are two different monsters.
No, hold on. Stay with me. So then how are we not going to give credit to the Bucs for, hey, they believed in Baker, went out, stuck with him, got him. They hired the offensive coordinator. They put the pieces in place to do what they needed to do to win their division, regardless of what you think about the team. So then how are we not going to sit there and give the coach and that team credit for where that team is?
Oh, I give the offensive coordinator a lot of credit. But I don't. But wait. Todd Bowles was not the one that reached out to get the offense. And I don't know who it is, but Todd Bowles is not the one that reached out to get that guy. Let's get serious here.
So then who did? Who did?
Well, first of all, let's find out who he is. So let's do that. If coordinator, but I think as far
Rice is going to blow a gasket. He is going to blow a gasket for any minute now.
Wow, I didn't realize that. They got it's Dave Canos. I thought it was still
no Leftwich.
What's his name? Byron Leftwich.
No.
But yeah.
Who do you think got rid of Leftwich?
Yes.
Leftwich is gone. And then who do you think brought him in? Todd Bowles hired that guy. So how does Todd Bowles and Sonny Clark?
Well, first, okay, I might take a step back if he actually hired that guy.
It's the head coach's job, Sonny. He hires.
Okay, that being said, okay, all right. Now, before we go, hold on. You're making a point that I wanted to point out that I got the board. All right. So that being said, this guy is the new coach for the Raiders.
Right, as he should be.
And you can argue that point, and you would have something there. All right. So my question, and I think I've got it. This is what's happening here. So we got this guy is going to bring in Marvin Lewis. Now, old Sonny don't have a lot to say about Marvin Lewis. But one of the things that really, really makes me worry about this, and this is if Antonio is doing the hiring, this right here, okay? I am telling you right now, this is just my opinion, okay? Coughlin is going to bring in, and Marvin Lewis. First of all, is he making that decision? Now, I just did find out he did make the decision about Marvin Lewis. So I did find that out. But I want to know who's making the decisions on as far as that is concerned. How much is he actually doing it? How much is ownership saying, hey, we'll go ahead and do it, but let's get some support about it. Let's get this guy. How much Jerry Jones is involved with the Raiders as far as listen, you're gonna disagree with me. You're going to disagree with me when I say this. No, hold on. You're gonna disagree with me. But if you don't think taking that guy as the head coach for this football team is a stretch, I think it's a stretch. Okay. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, would there be somebody out there better to take that job? Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but here's what I worry about. Okay, is that you take that stretch with this guy, all right, and hey, the players love him, right? I mean, this is a player's coach. Everybody loves him. Why? Because obviously, when you got players who see a guy who's played the game, has Super Bowl rings, which, by the way, he does, with the Giants. If I'm not mistaken, he's got one with the Giants, maybe two. I'm not sure if he was there for the second one. That being said, but really in reality, and he went 5-4 as a head coach in replacement. Now, granted, you can argue the point that this team was in disarray and 5-4. Thank God they got 5-4 because it could have been 4-5 or 3-6. It could have been that way. But you're only one game. You're only 1 or 2 games away from it. And I just like the last coach that is when they got rid of that what's his nose because of his nonsense.
With the Raiders?
Who's the one? Yeah, who's no. The before McDaniels.
John Gruden?
Yeah. When they got rid of Gruden, they had that guy, and I forget his name, who came in as an interim and kicked ass and took names and got them to the playoffs, just like this guy. So I'm wondering if they're worried about not keeping that factor from the last time it happened to what he can do. I'm just going to say this. I am not a Tom Coughlin fan on any level. It has nothing to do with the Jaguars, even though that's a big part of it. He was messing up the Giants before he even got down there. Okay. Now my boy Tom McManus would rip my beard off for saying that because he is a big time Coughlin fan. But I'm not a believer in Coughlin. Yeah. But I just wonder, Yeah, and I'm going to give this guy a chance because, first of all, when you do get players on your side, they play better. They play better, and I'm hoping for him to be the guy. But I'm wondering if they'll look at this later on down the road, saying, "Man, we had the opportunity for this or that, and we didn't do it, and we might have made a mistake. We should have maybe rolled like we did when we got rid of Gruden and got a new coach, maybe a better coach than the one that we got." I don't know. I like the fact that the players liked him, but I don't know. I just don't know if I like the guy enough and I hope I'm wrong because I like him per se, but there are a lot of coaches out there, but you got to give some guys some chances to do what they did. And I'm actually glad that they did that as well, more so from the year before when they didn't do it or the 2 years before when they didn't give the guy a chance. So I'm on both sides. I just know that there are going to be some names out there that might be a better pick, but maybe if you do got the guys behind him, how many of those guys are going to be there? Well, Max Crosby is going to be there, and Crosby just basically – see, in other words, the players put a mutiny on this thing in reality. If you look at it, the big time names are saying, hey, if he's not here, we'll be looking elsewhere sooner or later. And that did happen, by the way. Max Crosby put them on friggin' notice that he wants him there. And you actually got to listen to a Max Crosby out of all those guys. You got to listen to him. And some of the other big superstars are saying, well, if you don't do that, that's going to be a problem. I hope success for him. But I just wonder if that was the right hire. So in reality, if you get the hindsight is 2020, would there have been somebody else that you would have hired there, Bryce? I mean, or is that the guy in your opinion? And I'm not wrong, you're not wrong, but who would you do?
I understand people's trepidation about it. He was an interim coach, but he did have an opportunity to coach those 9 games. And the Raiders, they saw enough with how he galvanized and led the team to say, look, I think we found our next head coach. I have no problem with it. I have no problem doing that, particularly when you've had 9 games and this guy's been on your staff and you want to promote from within. You've had an opportunity to look. And the way that he came in,
I agree,
and galvanized that locker room, and the way he galvanized the players, and the way they spoke so highly of him and how he went about his business, I think the Raiders made the good move. I do not know if this will work out for them, but I think it was the right move at this time for this organization and what they needed to do. We don't know Marvin Lewis's capacity in the organization, what he's going to do. So I have no problem with him. Well,
he's going to have to be on the defense, if anything, because Marvin Lewis is the defense guy.
Bringing on an experienced head coach, a guy who's got defensive experience to help him continue to build that team. They got to get a quarterback, so they got to do that. But why not allow him, a guy that coached your team for 9 games, that you said, hey, this guy did a good job, players go to bat for him. We're going to give him a contract. We're going to rally around him. We're going to allow him to execute his vision for our team and bring us back to respectability in a division.
Exactly.
Where if you don't have a quarterback, you better have a team that's going to bring it every week, hit the quarterback, play defense, because you don't have the franchise guy to stand up with the Herberts and the Mahomeses. So you better win some way. Why not bring in a defensive coach to start reframing that team?
And sometimes a nice change, for a football team makes all the difference in reality, Cuervo. But I just say there's going to be some names, and I'm actually, parts of me glad that they're doing it so they can prove that maybe hiring within, like Bryce says, is the way to do it. They got the backing of the guy. So I'll ask Cuervo, obviously. The Denver Broncos, they don't have a quarterback, so they're in the same kind of, part as far as having your number one guy. They don't have a quarterback. They're vying in reality for a wild card spot in reality. So is this the guy to help them get to that wild card spot? How do you feel about the hire of Antonio Freeman, right? That's his name, right? Antonio Freeman?
Pierce.
Gotcha. Antonio Pierce. What's your take on him?
Yeah, so you mentioned the last time that this happened, right, with Rich Bisaccia. That's
his name,
the interim coach. And the organization didn't listen to the players, and they let him go. And now he's in Green Bay as their special teams guy. I think Mark Davis remembers when that happened, and he didn't listen to his players, and he didn't want to make the same mistake. So he listened to the players' feedback, because now I don't know if every team does it. I don't know if it's a requirement, but I know at least for the Bears and the Eagles, because I talked to Greg, they do exit interviews. Hey, how did the season go? What do you think? What do you think of these
most
coaches?
do.
Yeah. So I think the feedback that they got was, please consider hiring Antonio Pierce. Retaining him. But there is something I got to say though. I don't like when players threaten to say,
boycott.
Hire him or trade me. Listen, I understand you're a star player and all that. You are also an employer. I don't work for you. So who we hire is who we hire. And if you don't like it, hey, call your agent and we'll make a trade. And that type of structure and leadership has to be established. And there's nothing wrong with expressing your opinion about things. Look, DJ Moore is begging the Bears to keep Justin Fields. But does that mean it's going to happen? No, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I promise you, if they move on from Justin Fields, and whether they draft Caleb Williams, Drake May, whoever, if he's throwing touchdowns to him, he ain't going to be mad about it no more that Justin Fields is gone. Players move on. Like, you still got to go out there, perform, and make your money. So whether Antonio Pierce is the head coach or if somebody else is head coach, if he gets the right coaching and he continues to perform at a high level, all pro level, and then he gets paid, like Sonny says, to him, it ain't the head coach ain't gonna matter who it is anymore. So I know type of person I can be. I'd be like, first off, you don't call any shots here. And the evil side of me would retain Antonio Pierce and trade Max Crosby. Yeah. But I know that's not real. That's not going to happen. But it also sends a message to the rest of the team.
Yes.
About who runs the show. And you know what I mean? And look, again, players' feedback is extremely important. But to sit there and threaten, trade me if you don't retain this guy. Nah, Jack, that's not how it works. And that's how bad organizations are ran. Just like going back to the whole Dallas thing, it's never going to change. If Jerry Jones continues to run the team the way he has, it is not going to change at all. Like Bryce said, it's the definition of insanity to a T, where you expect different results when you do the same thing over and over and over and over. Yep. He needs to hire an executive staff to help him run this thing. That's one of the biggest things about leadership, guys. I don't know. I've never ran a football team or anything like that. I've never been in a footballer, but I think I know a thing or two about leadership. And one of the things about leadership that it's one of the hardest things to do is delegation. It's hard to delegate because sometimes you have that mentality of, if you want it done right, do it yourself. But that's not always the case. You gotta trust other people to work for you and get things done for you. You tell them your vision. This is what I see, and you guys get on the same page with that, and then you delegate it and you go out there and you let your minions make it happen for you. And that's just not how the Cowboys operate, and that's why you see these failures over and over and over because it trickles down to who he wants as the coach. It's not necessarily coaching, because if he had somebody in his ear to say, hey, I think we need to move on from McCarthy and we need to look at hiring this person. Yeah. Then that could be something that can help them evolve and grow as an organization. But Jerry wants it his way because he thinks he's going to get it right. And for 28 years in a row, he hasn't gotten it right. So
very much,
the prime example of a well-run organization, it's that guy's team right there. That guy's team.
Yeah.
They know how to run business. Owners delegate to front office people down to the head coach, and they just know how to build teams, man. The coaching is phenomenal. I mean,
we'll see if they can get it right. Guys, I got to get out of here.
All right, Bryce.
I got the Chiefs over the Bills. And my Steelers, too many missed tackles and too many turnovers. That's all I got to say.
Well, and I think you knew that was going to happen anyway. So
I picked the Bills.
So, all right, my man. Always good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for enjoying the insanity on Sunday morning. We appreciate it.
You put some respect on Todd Bowles' name. You stop your disrespect right now.
Right.
Is that all right? Maybe I still wouldn't want him as my coach, but hey, that's me.
Always great.
That's the way you go. Good to see you. Right. Hey, now, really quick on what you were talking about, DJ Moore. What if it was Jefferson? What if it was Jamar Chase making those statements that either keep this guy or trade me? And so
just like any other star, you take it into consideration. And that's what you say. Hey, you know what? We appreciate your feedback. We will take it into consideration as far as keeping Justin. We gotta, just like Ryan Poles said, the GM, we're gonna take a look at everything. We're gonna weigh all options. And I think that's the due diligence that all teams do. Do your due diligence, look into all options.
Have they fired your coach yet?
Eberflus?
Yeah. Have they fired him yet?
He's staying. It's already been said he's staying.
Oh. Well, okay. And that on that point, how do you feel about that? I heard what you said before the last game, and then you saw the last game.
Yeah.
So are you keeping the same opinion that you're going to trust your GM to keep this guy even after what happened in that last game?
Yes.
Got
it. Look, I think Brian Poles has a good judgment of character, and good judgment. He has good judgment. So I think that there's something that he sees in Matty Eberflus that says he's got the attention of the whole room, the whole team, and that he can lead this team. It's just the offensive coaching staff did not perform, and they didn't. It just wasn't good enough. So that's why that whole coaching staff got fired. Offensive coordinator, everybody down, except for the O-line and tight ends coach. Those are the only two they kept. Everyone else is good. So, if it was up to me, I probably would have moved on. I probably would have fired him. I understand though why. I understand why they kept him, and continuity is extremely important. That's
why I think they're going to keep Justin Fields. That's the reason why I think they keep Justin Fields in reality.
Well, I would agree with you if they would have decided to keep Luke Getsy. If Luke Getsy was still the OC, then I think that's a clear sign that Justin is staying. But I think this is why. Look, it's a lot of fun to talk about the quarterback situation in Chicago.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
However, I'm a believer in closest alligator to the boat, and for me, the closest alligator right now is who's the offensive coordinator going to be, because based on that is going to be a sign of what they're going to do at quarterback.
Well, the rumor is Cliff Kingsbury, and I'm telling you right now, I'm so off of that. In reality, I am so off of a Cliff Kingsbury being in there. So, I don't know. Good to see you, Brian Tarvin, and he's saying Lions Chiefs today. So, by the way, who'd you have in that in the Tampa Bay Lions game?
Oh, I got the Lions.
You got the Lions. All right,
yeah.
I'm going with the fact that I'm worried about the Lions defense. Okay. That defense, especially in the secondary, Baker Mayfield, if that offensive line can protect them, I think Baker's going to have a good day. Godwin and Mike Evans is going to get more than three catches, and it's going to be big. In a mild upset. I'm going and the confidence points are the lowest one, which was 4. So, but I'm taking the Buccaneers in that game, mainly because of the defense. I'm really worried about that defense as far as that's concerned. So, but I just wanted to make sure I got that pick on there. So now, that being said, we do have Buffalo. We do have the Chiefs taking the field today. This is going to be a really good game in reality. But here's my, I hate making something really simple, more so than, because how I like to dive in the numbers and see things and everything else. The number that is in my mind right now is 3, maybe 4. And that number is how many times Patrick Mahomes has lost to the Buffalo Bills. That's 3 times. I don't know if they're going to get it in the fourth. I'm just, I just, the odds say no, obviously, but they're playing in Buffalo, so to get to the AFC Championship game, it's got to go through Buffalo, not necessarily Kansas City, like it normally does. And so that being said, what's your take up on the Buffalo Bills as far as hey, I know I get what you're saying, but it's still L is an L is an L. So I look at it that way. So what's your take up on the Kansas City Chiefs and Bills there, Cuervo?
Well, I mean, I think, last week you saw, Kansas City pretty much took care of business. They did exactly what we expected. Buffalo, I would say that they probably, trying to think back to the game. I think they I don't know if I want to say made a mistake, Sonny, but I think the way they kind of started letting Pittsburgh back in that game towards the end, it's kind of like, I just don't know if Buffalo has that killer instinct in them, because Buffalo to me is one of those teams. It kind of feels like if they don't grab an early lead like they did last week, I don't know if they're built to, if they're down 10 points in the fourth quarter, are they built to take over that game, kind of like the Chiefs are. That is what concerns me about Buffalo. Is I just think they're a team that they're built to jump out on you early and then try to play catch up with them. But if they try to play catch up with someone else, it just kind of feels like they have a really hard time doing that. So I think that's going to be really important for Buffalo, is to jump on them early. Look, the dynamics of this game is different, Sonny. We've had Chiefs and Bills, 4 out of the past 5 years or something like that.
Yeah,
but the dynamics today is different. Do you realize this is Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game today?
Absolutely. Yep.
First one. And this is the first road playoff game for the Kansas City Chiefs as a team. And I looked this up last week. 2016 was the last time. It's been 8 years since Kansas City Chiefs have played a road playoff game.
Yep.
You know who the quarterback was? Alex Smith. That's how long it's been.
Well, think about this, though. We talk about great dynasties of the games, right? And great teams. And arguably the Kansas City Chiefs are one of those great teams since they've got Patrick Mahomes. But what has to happen, and what great quarterbacks have done, is that they may not have won the division to get the home game, but they go out and they get that win on the road. And I think that's what I'm about ready to see today. I think the natural progression for a Patrick Mahomes is to go out and get that big win to get into the AFC Championship game and get that all set for him. Now, that's going to go through Baltimore, so he's going to have to do it twice if the Chiefs are going to make the Super Bowl. They got to do it this week against, arguably top 5 quarterback, and then obviously the best quarterback this year in Jackson in Baltimore. So this is one of those things where he can write his story to greatness. And even though this statement from Brian Tarvin, I don't believe it. I'm not going to say that per se. I am going to say that Lamar Jackson is good enough because first of all, he did exactly the opposite of what most quarterbacks have done. He got his money. He played well. He got him to the playoffs. Now he's in the AFC Championship game, which is what you want from your guy who you just paid what? $187 million a year for, or guaranteed money, over $260 million. So yeah, how many? But it may start this year because listen, this guy's going to win the MVP, and if he doesn't, someone has something against him. I don't like him, and I'm already saying he's the MVP. So there you go. So you got to open your eyes to what Lamar Jackson can do and whether or not a team can stop it.
Well, so here's my question for Tarvin then. What's his opinion of Josh Allen? Is he overrated? Is he not good enough? I'm just curious. What does he think of Josh Allen?
Yeah, what is that? I think I'd like to know that, Mr. Tarvin. Okay, so he is overrated. And by the way, I don't think he's trash per se, but I think there are times where Josh Allen does not show up in games, especially important ones, even though he has proven that he can win some games.
He is a turnover machine. I agree with that.
He definitely is. And I think that comes into play today because listen, Cuervo, we've been talking about for the last 3 years, maybe even 4. What has been the downfall of the Kansas City Chiefs? Their defense. This year, the defense is what's carrying the offense in order to get them where they are today. All right, so now you got the combination. If that offense decides to wake up, which I think it does, they're going into a different mindset going into the playoffs, so they become a different team. If that defense stays the way that they've been doing all year long, and Patrick Mahomes all of a sudden just shrugs off all this crazy nonsense that he's been doing all year and becomes the guy from last year or the year before that, and even to the year before that, the Chiefs are going to be hard pressed to lose the rest, not make the Super Bowl. But it has to start today. I think it's going to be important for the Chiefs to get past. Now, if they lose in the AFC Championship game, that's fine. But I think this is the game that they've got to get off the schneid, per se, because not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 losses against the Buffalo Bills. And that's the only team that Patrick Mahomes has problem with in the NFL. And he doesn't even play the other teams as often as they do them. So it's one of those things. It's going to be really interesting to go. I'm actually going to go Kansas City in this game because of that. I just don't see Patrick Mahomes losing a 4th game in reality to Josh Allen, and then throw in the fact that Brian Tarvin turnover machine, and things of that sort. I think they are going to come into play because that defense of Kansas City is that much better than they have been for the last few years. So. Interestingly enough. So, but also interestingly enough, and I'm not saying that it was, but there's one difference between the Kansas City Chiefs last year compared to this year in reality, and who is that? One offensive coordinator who's not there anymore, Eric Bieniemy. Does that give him more value? Well, he went over to the Washington Commanders and proved that maybe that wasn't a great setup for him, but was this a good setup here? But really, I always question Eric Bieniemy because it is Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Patrick Mahomes really thought of him. So, I talked to or even cared what Eric Bieniemy had to say. I believe that. Just because I see, all you got to do is take a look at the sideline shots and figure out that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have that much respect for Eric Bieniemy. But at some point, since his departure, seeing where they are today compared to when he is, you got to question, maybe was it there? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can question about Eric Bieniemy, Sonny, but I'm looking at who the offensive coordinator is now, and it makes me throw up in my mouth. So
right. I get it. So would you rather have him or Eric Bieniemy in reality for Kansas City right now? If you're the guy calling,
it's crazy because Mahomes loves Matt Nagy. I'm like, hey,
why?
You know what? If they work together, if they're peanut butter and jelly, hey, good for them. If Matt Nagy is the peanut butter to Mahomes is jelly, then by all means, then if that's what works for them, cool. It's just the taste in my mouth about Matt Nagy. Just I don't know, but I think that How big of a deal is it, Sonny, that Kadarius Toney is out for today's game for Kansas City?
Well, I don't think it's a big deal at all because of the controversy that he's already caused. And to be honest, when that whole
you
thing
don't have
went,
to worry about him lying offsides
I
again.
thought they were going to cut. Yeah, I thought they were going to cut him anyway. So the fact that he's still there and the fact that he's not there, I don't think that really comes into play. Okay. He can be a play. He's not a playmaker, but he can be. And they haven't figured out how to make him a playmaker yet this year. And that might be because of Bieniemy, because the year before that, he was getting some love from Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes. So there is a little bit of difference there. At least that's what I think I've saw. But I don't think that affects Kansas City at all. First of all, when you got Kelsey and Mahomes, it's a different. You can double up Kelsey all day long, and Mahomes is going to find somebody. So that's the difference. And then you're kind of stuck in, do you double up Kelsey or do you spread the field? And I think we're going to see the spread in the field. And if they spread the field, I think Kelsey's going to get all over him because he's that good in open spaces. He can get away from defenders, and Patrick Mahomes will always be looking for him as well. So I think that's what I think I'm going to see in this game. I don't know.
Sure. And and things changed when Mahomes started, getting more confident in throwing to Rashee Rice, the rookie. That's when things started changing for Kansas City. They look like an offense again that they could move the ball and things like that. So I think
kick returns too, doesn't he?
No.
Who's the one that's returning the ball?
I think McCole Hardman does sometimes, and then they've got another guy too. I can't remember his name.
I thought he was actually doing the return, so I'll back on that one. So, but this one's going to be a good one today. This is going to be the best game of the day. I'm really interested in the first one, but the Kansas City one's the one I'm really looking.
Well, that's why they saved the best game for last. I mean, this is going to be the best game.
Put it there in prime time for people to watch.
Time. That's it. Prime time. So, I don't know how much longer we're going to be on. I guess you're ready for my pick, right?
Yeah, I'm ready for your pick because I actually do have to bail. I got something I got to do, so and it takes me away for a little bit too long. So, but I'm on Kansas City. For reason 3, 4 in a row. I just don't see it. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Who you got?
Yeah. So I mean, look. It kind of has that feeling like, all right, this is gonna be the time, this is gonna be the day that Buffalo finally gets over the hump and they get past Kansas City in the playoffs and they go on to the AFC Championship. Everything is in line for Buffalo to win. Okay, and they should win this game. They should.
Yes. But will they?
I just think I'm a believer of I'll believe it when I see it. And the only reason, Sonny, that I'm picking Kansas City, and you're probably going to lose your mind when you say this, and that's fine.
Okay.
I learned my lesson last year in the postseason.
Okay.
When the Zebras want a certain team to win, they will do everything they can to make it happen. Yes, I'm calling out the officiating. I don't care. I can't get fined. I can't get fired unless you fire me, Sonny, as your co-host.
Nah, believe me, I have more insane takes than that. So there you go.
But I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen in this game. Buffalo is I think they're going to jump out early. The crowd's going to be behind them. And, I mean, it's just going to be a lot of energy, right? And to be expected. You're in Buffalo. You got Mahomes on the road for the first time in his career. And I think Buffalo jumps out early and, Kansas City slowly gets back in it. But the fourth quarter, I'm going to tell you, you're going to see a lot of this. You're going to see a lot of that happening. That's it right there. The yellow hanky. You're going to see a lot of yellow hankies coming out, and we're all going to be disgusted yet again that the refs are going to find a way to hand this game to the Kansas City Chiefs. to set up Lamar versus Mahomes, as the script says, for the AFC Championship.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a very, very good chance next week we're getting Mahomes versus Lamar.
That'd be great. I would love to see that better than Josh Allen than Lamar, because I think Lamar wins that one, right? I think Lamar wins that one.
Look, either matchup you get, Sonny, it's going to be great, because these three guys are three of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game right now. Whether you get Lamar versus Mahomes or Lamar versus Josh Allen, I think that's a must-see game next week.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Have you seen the remake of that commercial?
Yes, I have, and I love it. It just cracks me up. I saw it's good. Well, I'll try to download that and have it for next week. So
the new version of it.
Yeah, the new version. It's fun, and the guy doesn't even look like him. It's that bad, but it's still funny. But it is. But and on a side note, I did this. How long were you watching before you checked out what was going on?
Just a couple of minutes. It wasn't that.
I just wanted to put this out here so you can actually see that ball move just like that. There you go. I just wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to actually see it. So, here's slow motion too. Watch that ball move.
And then he regained possession inbounds.
He got to maintain possession to the ground, and he didn't, and that's what they're saying. But in today's game, I guess in today's game, they said in today's game and today's rules that would be a catch. I still don't know how that would be, but that's what they say anyway. But I just, I found it. And by the way, the Podfather wanted to say you got to watch your back with him. And here's the reason. Right there. That's the reason why you gotta keep your eye open for the Podfather. Look at what he does there. Just choking him out on that bottom row. He's very proud of that, by the way.
What a dirty man. What a dirty
He is a dirty man, but that's all I have. I got some things I gotta do before I can watch the game. So a couple of things. So we're gonna go ahead and end this one out. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll figure out what's gonna happen. There's 2 games and they're gonna be Sunday. So they're gonna be new. If I'm not mistaken, they're moving the first game to 2 or 3 in the afternoon and doing the second one in prime time, I think. But we'll keep an eye out for that one. If it's better, if they're going to do noon and the afternoon, we'll do our regular one. If not, we'll do it a little bit later. And that way, maybe you get an opportunity to come on a little bit later. Later's better for you on Sunday, right?
Honestly, either it doesn't really matter to me. I know the wife is waiting for me right now. Gonna
good
get some breakfast.
Tell her I ended the show an hour early just for her.
I will let her know. I'm sure you'll hear from her.
I don't know if she'll fall for it, but it is what it is. And so, but and that being said, we can't get through a show with
Bears are who we thought they were.
So gotta get that out there. I'm hoping for the Bears. By the way, I picked them to win the division. I was sorry, I was wrong, but I think. I really want to see what they do with Justin Field. If they keep him, what are they going to do to help him? Cuervo, obviously, they need to get the offensive lineman to help him out to do what he does. So that's where I'm at. So that's going to do it for us on the Couch Potato Sports Show on this Sunday edition. A little bit, abbreviated, but we got it in. We got the show in. We'll be back better than ever next week on Sunday. We'll find out the time. We'll keep everybody posted. For Bryce from Brooklyn, for the Podfather, and the fine co-host of the program. Look at me. I did that really good. I pointed right on that one on the first one. I'm Sonny Clark.
The middle finger?
And no, I gave you the right one. I didn't do that. I did that. That's going to do it for us on the show. Everybody have a good week. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.